Hello friends. Have you ever looked at a couple and thought, how do they even work together? Now imagine a Cancer man and an Aries woman, two signs as different as the moon and Mars, literally. One ruled by emotion and intuition, the other by fire and fierce independence. Can this seemingly cosmic mismatch actually lead to something extraordinary? Or are we watching a celestial train wreck in slow motion? Let's dive deep into the wild, complex, and sometimes beautifully chaotic chemistry between a Cancer man and an Aries woman. From love and sex to marriage, friendship, and even business, this is your full 15,000 character astrological compatibility breakdown. Love compatibility. Imagine a quiet lake kissed by a sudden summer storm. That's the emotional dynamic of a Cancer man and Aries woman in love. On one hand, you have the Cancer man, the ultimate emotional depth diver, soft-spoken, affectionate, deeply intuitive. His love is like a soft blanket on a rainy day, consistent and comforting. On the other, the Aries woman is a lightning bolt, electric, impulsive, bold in both words and actions. Her love is wild and alive, like fireworks over calm water. The initial attraction between them? Magnetic. The Aries woman is instantly intrigued by the Cancer man's quiet intensity. He doesn't chase her like others do, he observes, he listens, and that mystery is irresistible. Meanwhile, he's drawn in by her fierce independence and radiant fire. She's everything he isn't, and that contrast is intoxicating. It's not unusual for these two to lock eyes across a room and feel like they've known each other in 100 lifetimes before. But beneath that first spark lies a vast difference in emotional speed. The Aries woman falls in love like she's skydiving, fast, fearless, and without a parachute. The Cancer man, though. He's the guy building the plane. He needs to know the love is safe, reciprocal, and sincere before he takes the leap. This difference in tempo can cause some early turbulence. She might think he's distant or uninterested, while he could feel overwhelmed by her direct intensity. But if she learns to slow down just enough, and he learns to trust her fire, they might find themselves dancing to a new kind of rhythm, one that neither has experienced before. What makes this pair so uniquely beautiful is how they challenge and complete each other. The Cancer man, often reserved and hesitant, finds in Aries a woman who refuses to let life pass her by. She teaches him to take chances, to live more courageously, and to say what he feels without fear. He, in return, teaches her that strength isn't only about being fearless, it's about being vulnerable, about letting someone see your soul and still choosing to stay. His emotional intelligence balances her spontaneity. Her drive pushes him to dream bigger. But their biggest hurdle? Emotional translation. These two speak in wildly different love languages. Cancer expresses affection through caretaking, soft words, and consistent presence. He needs emotional validation like plants need sunlight. Aries, meanwhile, thrives on action and independence. Her love is shown in grand gestures, quick texts that say, "Thinking of you," and the fierce loyalty of someone who would burn the world for you, but forgets to say it aloud. This can lead to misunderstandings. He might feel unappreciated. She might feel suffocated. The secret is in learning each other's dialect, realizing that silence isn't distance, and fire isn't chaos. Conflict, when it happens, can be explosive. Aries confronts problems head-on, she'll say what she feels the moment she feels it, with no filter. Cancer recoils from confrontation. He needs time, space, and emotional safety to express himself honestly. This mismatch can lead to tears, slammed doors, and misunderstood intentions. But if they learn to pause, to truly listen, and to respond rather than react, they can turn these clashes into profound breakthroughs. In their best form, Cancer and Aries in love is a relationship that evolves. It begins with fascination, moves through challenge, and, if both are committed, lands in a place of deep mutual growth. Aries helps Cancer become braver. Cancer helps Aries become softer. Together, they don't just balance each other, they create a brand new emotional language only they understand. The emotional journey won't always be smooth. It's water meeting fire, sometimes it steams, sometimes it sizzles, and sometimes it simply evaporates. But when both partners are willing to adjust, to communicate with care and clarity, and to appreciate each other's unique emotional gifts, this relationship can become a passionate, deeply bonded union that stands out from the crowd. Verdict: 7.5/10 for love. A challenging match, but with heart, patience, and emotional intelligence, it can become a rare and powerful connection. When it works, it doesn't just survive, it transforms. Sexual compatibility. There's something undeniably magnetic about opposites in the bedroom. And when it comes to the Cancer man and Aries woman, their sexual connection can go from "what is even happening?" to "we might just burn the sheets down." By day, they might look like emotional strangers. He's quiet and contemplative, she's bold and impulsive. But when night falls and the doors close, something shifts. Their differences collide in a space where tension becomes chemistry and vulnerability becomes passion. The Aries woman is, in many ways, a sexual pioneer. She approaches intimacy with fearless energy, a sense of adventure, and very little hesitation. She's not afraid to initiate, to explore, to take the lead, and she brings an intensity that can either electrify or intimidate her more reserved Cancer partner. For her, sex is both expression and exploration. It's a way to live fully in the moment, to feel powerful, and to connect without the weight of too many words. The Cancer man, however, experiences sex on a different wavelength. He's emotionally intuitive, tender, and deeply sensual. To him, physical intimacy is an extension of emotional connection. He doesn't just want a body, he wants to feel your soul, your mood, your energy. This emotional depth can be overwhelming for an Aries woman who often treats sex as a thrilling experience rather than a sacred ritual. She wants sparks, he wants warmth. She craves the rush, he yearns for resonance. So what happens when these worlds collide? At first, there can be a lot of friction, literally and metaphorically. The Aries woman may feel like she's constantly initiating and setting the pace, while the Cancer man might retreat if he doesn't feel emotionally safe or deeply connected. This could lead to a mismatch in rhythm. Her intensity feels too sudden, his tenderness feels too slow. But here's the beautiful part: when they stop trying to change each other and start embracing their differences, magic happens. Aries teaches Cancer how to break free from his shell, both emotionally and physically. She invites him to play, to explore fantasy, and to trust that sex doesn't always need a perfect emotional backstory to be meaningful. In return, Cancer shows Aries how intimacy can be even more powerful when it's emotionally anchored. He teaches her the value of eye contact, of holding on a little longer, of letting someone all the way in, not just into her body, but into her heart. This exchange of energy, her fire and his depth, can create a uniquely powerful chemistry. Over time, they begin to synchronize. He becomes more confident, more vocal, more exploratory. She becomes more attuned to subtlety, to the beauty of emotional pacing, to the richness of emotional foreplay. What starts as a mismatch can evolve into a balanced, deeply satisfying connection where both partners feel seen, desired, and nourished. But there's a catch: they have to communicate. Cancer needs to feel secure, he needs gentle affirmation, not just physical attention. Aries needs to feel wanted and exciting, she thrives on enthusiasm and active engagement. If Cancer becomes too withdrawn, Aries may feel rejected. If Aries becomes too aggressive, Cancer may shut down. Their success in the bedroom hinges not just on technique, but on emotional safety, open dialogue, and mutual respect. Another hidden gem in this pairing is their capacity for surprise. The Aries woman might discover a new kind of intimacy with Cancer, one that moves slower, lingers longer, and leaves her emotionally fulfilled in ways she hadn't imagined. The Cancer man, in turn, may experience a kind of liberation, where his sexuality becomes bolder, more expressive, even adventurous. Together, they explore not only each other, but also unfamiliar parts of themselves. Their physical intimacy, at its best, becomes a dance of duality, fast and slow, fire and water, wild and warm. When they learn to ebb and flow together, their sexual connection stops being just chemistry, it becomes alchemy. They transmute their differences into gold. Emotional vulnerability meets physical passion, and what could have been chaos becomes deeply fulfilling. Verdict: 8 out of 10 for sex. A passionate, unpredictable pairing that takes work but pays off in emotional depth and physical fireworks. If they trust the process, they'll discover that fusion doesn't just mean pleasure, it means transformation. Marriage compatibility. This is the stage where chemistry is tested by commitment, where passion meets responsibility, and where the highs of romance must face the realities of routine. A marriage between a Cancer man and an Aries woman is nothing short of a dance between two very different definitions of love. He's all about emotional legacy, building a home, creating shared memories, and nurturing connection like it's sacred. She's about movement, excitement, and the freedom to evolve within the relationship. What happens when a moonlit dreamer marries a fiery trailblazer? The answer is, it depends on the day. And the maturity. And the weather, honestly. Cancer men crave emotional closeness. For them, marriage is a safe harbor, an emotional retreat filled with family dinners, cozy nights, and predictable rhythms. They invest deeply, wholeheartedly, and sometimes a little possessively in their partner's well-being. An Aries woman, while loyal and often romantic in her own way, sees marriage as a launchpad for growth, not a destination. She needs space to breathe, create, and conquer the next mountain. If the Cancer man tries to make her world too small, she'll start looking for open windows. But here's where things get surprisingly beautiful: when they respect each other's emotional ecosystems, they can become each other's greatest allies. The Aries woman, with her bold energy and relentless drive, helps the Cancer man step beyond his shell. She lights fires under his dreams, pushes him to take risks, and reminds him that safety doesn't have to mean stagnation. Meanwhile, he teaches her how to slow down, how to value emotional consistency, and how deep intimacy can be just as thrilling as new adventures. When they meet halfway, they begin to write a marriage story that's both stable and electric. Still, no union between opposites is without friction. The Cancer man, when hurt, often withdraws into silence or passive-aggressive behavior. He doesn't like loud confrontations, he prefers subtle signals. The Aries woman, however, charges straight into conflict like a general on a battlefield. She wants answers, solutions, and movement, now. This difference in conflict style can be one of their biggest hurdles. He might feel attacked, she might feel ignored. Unless they consciously work on communication, learning to fight fair and to listen without defensiveness, resentment can quietly take root. Then there's the matter of shared decision-making. Cancer tends to be frugal, long-term focused, and emotionally driven in financial matters. He wants savings for rainy days and stability for the future. Aries? She's more about the now. She's generous, impulsive, and driven by big ideas. Money can become a source of stress unless they have clear agreements and boundaries. Cancer might see her spending as reckless, she might see his caution as limiting. Financial harmony will require transparency, compromise, and a shared vision that balances security with spontaneity. Parenting styles also reflect their core personalities. The Cancer man is the nurturing type, the dad who reads bedtime stories and bakes cookies on weekends. He's emotionally present, sensitive to needs, and deeply invested in creating a safe, loving environment. The Aries woman is the active, empowering parent, the mom who teaches resilience, confidence, and independence. She encourages her children to explore, take chances, and believe in themselves. Together, they can create a beautifully balanced home. But they'll need to align on discipline, education, and long-term family goals to avoid tension and confusion. The good news is that despite their differences, both Cancer and Aries are deeply loyal. They don't walk away easily, especially once they've emotionally invested. Their commitment, when it's nurtured with respect and self-awareness, can weather many storms. But unlike some zodiac pairings that run on pure harmony, this one runs on active effort. It's not about avoiding friction, it's about learning to turn friction into fire that warms, not burns. Over time, they might even start to crave what the other offers. The Aries woman may find herself cherishing the quiet routines she once resisted. The Cancer man might find that the spontaneity he once feared now brings new life to his days. Their marriage becomes a living, breathing organism, constantly evolving, occasionally clashing, but always learning. Verdict: 6.5/10 for marriage. It's not the easiest road, but it can be one of the most rewarding. With maturity, communication, and a shared willingness to grow, this unlikely match can build a marriage that's not just balanced, but brave. Friendship compatibility. This is where the Cancer man and Aries woman truly shine, unexpectedly, effortlessly, and, sometimes, hilariously. At first glance, they seem like total opposites in the world of friendship. He's all about comfort, emotional connection, and meaningful conversations. She's action-packed, always planning the next big adventure, and doesn't really do long talks about feelings, at least not up front. And yet, somehow, when these two link up as friends, something surprising happens: they click. Not because they're similar, but because they offer each other exactly what the other never knew they needed. The Aries woman brings fire to Cancer's world, energy, momentum, and a "let's just do it" attitude that breaks through his usual caution. She's the friend who shows up at his door on a Saturday morning saying, "We're going on a hike, no excuses." She's spontaneous, fiercely loyal in her own way, and protective, almost to a fault, over the people she cares about. The Cancer man, in return, gives her a sense of emotional grounding she didn't know she was missing. He's the one who listens, really listens, when she's ranting about a breakup or job stress. He remembers the tiny details she mentioned weeks ago and shows up with her favorite snack just because. Together, they form an unexpected but powerful duo, one who balances action with reflection, excitement with support. Their friendship becomes a safe haven and a launch pad, all at once. Aries can help Cancer take risks and step out of his comfort zone, while Cancer reminds Aries that it's okay to slow down and actually feel things before charging ahead. That balance is what makes their bond strong, deep, and enduring, because it's not built on similarity, but on complementarity. Of course, not everything is smooth sailing. Their differences in pace and communication can cause a few speed bumps along the way. The Aries woman is direct and fast, she says what's on her mind without sugarcoating. The Cancer man, on the other hand, is sensitive to tone and meaning, and he might take her bluntness more personally than she intends. He may retreat into his shell if he feels hurt or dismissed, and she may feel frustrated by what she sees as overreactions or moodiness. But once they learn to read between the lines, to recognize that her bark is rarely personal and that his silence usually masks care, not coldness, they can navigate misunderstandings with grace. Another potential area of tension: planning. Aries wants spontaneity, last-minute road trips, unplanned nights out, and adventures without a fixed end time. Cancer, meanwhile, thrives on routine and emotional security. He might prefer a quiet evening with a well-planned meal and a feel-good movie. But even here, they can learn to meet in the middle. She gets to pull him into new experiences, and he gets to show her the joy of slowing down. A perfect weekend might look like a hike on Saturday and baking cookies on Sunday. Their shared loyalty is the glue that really holds the friendship together. Cancer may be slow to open up, but once he does, he's deeply committed to the people he lets into his heart. Aries may seem like a social butterfly, but she's a fierce protector of her inner circle. When these two become friends, they don't just hang out, they show up. When Cancer is going through something heavy, Aries will be there, boots on the ground, ready to fight for him if needed. And when Aries hits emotional burnout, Cancer is the one who wraps her up in understanding and says, "You don't always have to be strong." What's especially beautiful about this friendship is how it evolves. Over time, the Aries woman might start sharing more of her emotional world, feeling safe to be vulnerable in a way she doesn't allow herself elsewhere. And the Cancer man might start taking more chances, building confidence through her encouragement. Their friendship becomes a space for growth, where both can explore parts of themselves they usually keep hidden. It's not just companionship, it's emotional development. Verdict: 9 out of 10 for friendship. They're the classic odd couple with a twist, fire and water that don't cancel each other out, but create steam that keeps the friendship dynamic, loyal, and unexpectedly healing. Business compatibility. In the world of business, where strategy meets hustle and big dreams crash into real-world logistics, the pairing of a Cancer man and an Aries woman is nothing short of dramatic. Not in a bad way, but in the "will they build an empire or burn it all down trying" kind of way. These two bring radically different energies to the table. The Aries woman is bold, impulsive, and ready to charge ahead with $1 million idea before the pitch deck is even finished. The Cancer man is measured, cautious, and already planning the 5-year roadmap, complete with emotional check-ins for the team. It's a clash of tempos from day one. Aries thrives on adrenaline, momentum, and rapid decision-making. She believes in taking action now, fixing the details later, and trusting her gut above all else. Cancer is wired differently. He's the person in the meeting who's asking about sustainability, emotional impact, and whether the budget aligns with long-term values. To Aries, that can feel like dragging an anchor. To Cancer, Aries might look like a ticking time bomb. But here's the secret: if they can learn to stop competing and start collaborating, this duo can actually become an unstoppable business force. Aries shines in front-facing roles: sales, marketing, pitching investors, rallying a team around a new idea. She can sell ice to an Eskimo and make it sound like a revolutionary business model. She's fearless, magnetic, and thrives in high-pressure situations. The Cancer man, on the other hand, is the one quietly making sure payroll happens, the client relationships are nurtured, and no one on the team is silently burning out. He's emotionally intelligent, patient, and deeply invested in the well-being of the business and the people behind it. Together, they create a business dynamic that's half rocket fuel, half anchor. Aries pushes the company forward. Cancer ensures it doesn't fly off the rails. She keeps things exciting. He keeps things stable. The challenge? Not stepping on each other's toes. Aries can get frustrated when Cancer needs time to reflect or hesitates on what she sees as an obvious opportunity. Cancer, in turn, might feel steamrolled or ignored when Aries moves ahead without consulting him, or without a plan. If they don't actively work on trust and communication, resentment can quietly erode their partnership. Ego is the silent saboteur in this setup. Aries, with her take-no-prisoners leadership style, may overlook Cancer's quieter contributions. She wants results, and she wants them yesterday. Cancer, more introverted in his approach, might feel undervalued or unseen, even though he's often the glue holding the operation together. To succeed, they both have to validate each other's strengths. Aries needs to slow down just enough to listen. Cancer needs to speak up when his insights matter most. Decision-making under pressure is another potential pitfall. Aries leaps, Cancer calculates. She sees opportunity in chaos. He sees risk. They'll need clearly defined roles and boundaries. Let Aries drive innovation, but let Cancer handle the execution. Let Aries initiate, but let Cancer refine. They can cover blind spots the other doesn't even see, if they respect the process, not just the results. Interestingly, their business partnership also benefits from their emotional contrasts. Aries brings heat. Cancer brings heart. Aries can get laser-focused on goals and overlook human dynamics. Cancer reminds her that businesses aren't built on numbers alone, they're built on people. When employees feel seen, heard, and respected, a Cancer specialty, productivity goes up. When the team feels inspired and energized, an Aries specialty, innovation thrives. In that sense, they're not just managing a business, they're building a culture. When conflict arises, and it will, their success depends on maturity. Aries must avoid dismissing Cancer's emotional perspective as weakness. Cancer must avoid internalizing Aries' intensity as personal criticism. If they can learn to meet in the middle, combining boldness with sensitivity, their decision-making becomes sharper, faster, and more emotionally intelligent. That's a rare combo in any industry. Verdict: 7 out of 10 for business. High risk, high reward. With clear communication, role definition, and mutual respect, this pair has the potential to not only build a successful business, but to lead with both head and heart. A power duo, if they play to their strengths and keep their egos in check. Final thoughts: can they really work? Cancer man and Aries woman aren't your classic power couple, but maybe that's the point. Their relationship is a test of patience, empathy, and emotional fluency. If they lean into their differences instead of resisting them, they can build something truly powerful. A love that is passionate yet tender, a marriage that balances security with excitement, a friendship that's loyal and lively, and a business partnership that, though challenging, can bring brilliant results. So can they make it? The stars say yes, if both are willing to grow. And really, what better foundation for any relationship than two people willing to meet in the middle of their galaxies? If you found this compatibility breakdown helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our other zodiac deep dives. There's a whole universe of signs out there. Are you ready to explore them?